I like that more than the claps.
Buongiorno, buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
Let's get on that Italian train.
Buonanotte.
Andiamo.
Is it buonanotte? Is it buongiorno?
Welcome to the H&H Bungalow 605, the New Croc Park. Welcome to the Black Bear. Welcome to the Den. Welcome to the Snug. Doug Reiser, Karis Carter, Ashley Mae King.
Hello.
Ouch.
I am Rossellini. I'm Rossellini today, okay?
Okay.
Yeah,
Rossellini.
But we are still the JuJuBeez. Gradito, gradito, welcome. On the Stick, a 1948 film directed by Vittorio De Sica. Ti vidi bicicletta.
The Bicycle Thief tells the story of an impoverished family searching for work in post-World War II Italy. A complication arises when the protagonist's bicycle is stolen, preventing him from completing his job. The rest of the film plays out as him and his son search for the stolen bicycle throughout Rome.
In 1950, this film was awarded an Academy Honorary Award as being the most outstanding foreign language film of that year.
Okay, if you enjoy what we do, or maybe you wonder what the heck we do, basically we get together once a week and we have a party, and a movie discussion breaks out, and we record it,
Party.
and it's our pleasure, and hopefully it will be yours too. Like us, love us, subscribe, use the comment section to tell us what your favorite films are. And there's a good chance we'll discuss it on an upcoming podcast. So do that right now, or after this podcast, rather. Okay. I'm excited about this one.
Yeah.
Let's get the discussion officially started. Ashley Mae King, che cosa ti piaceva? Cosa hai amato? What not so much? Bicycle Thieves.
All right. Yeah, so this film, I can't believe I hadn't seen it, it being such a classic like this, but I really did. I enjoyed watching it. It is so artful in how it portrays a lot of the emotions and the action of the film. And I love, so older movies aren't afraid of space. They take their time, they use these wide shots and these longer scenes that we just don't see in modern film. And this film is full of these language shots and the action playing out in full. And I guess in modern times, it just isn't economical to shot-wise to do this, because once someone in this wide crowd scene messes up, you go back to one, but everyone in this film, and I think in this era of film, is so much living in the moment and inhabiting that space that it works. It just works. And the acting is really amazing. The performances are all really stunning because they are so realistically inhabiting those scenes. And this film was one of the first to really play on neorealism, in which it conveys that honesty in how the emotions and the real life situations are depicted on screen. And historically, this film made a lot of audiences really uncomfortable in how it depicted the socioeconomic reality that many Italians had been living in. What I really loved to kind of jump off of that, like that realism, was this sense of community that this film really harbored in. During the titular moment of theft, I don't think that's a spoiler, it's in the title, he runs after them and a car is just like, hop on, we've got him. And it's just like, you don't know this guy. But it's like, they're so willing to just jump in and help. And now it's like, it takes like an act of God to make anyone care about something other than themselves. In this movie, I was just kind of walked away like, wow, like everyone just really jumped in on that. And again, when they're looking for it in the market, it's kind of a similar sense. And I also really enjoy when a film can carry out negative character development. And in that, I mean, I was so invested in this protagonist and his plight, and I wanted him and I believed in him, and I thought, oh, he's this honest, hardworking guy. And he has some moments where I kind of found myself thinking, I'm glad your bicycle got stolen, my dude. I'm sorry. And it really, though, that was just a symptom of like his desperation living in that poverty. So really, I mean, like, I understand, but he really makes this character arc that I found really surprising, but all the same was carried out so artfully that I just absolutely loved it. The tension in this film builds so beautifully, and it has all these really claustrophobic kind of moments that really heighten the feelings that were being depicted on screen. A lot of it made me really uncomfortable, but that's because what was being depicted was uncomfortable. It's that neo-realism really shining through. And the plot is very circular, and I enjoy that in any film. And particularly I do have to shout out to Bruno, the son. He gives such an amazing performance, and he's so earnest, and the whole time I was like, is this like kid, who is this kid? He was so amazing. So he really was like a shining light for me. To get into what I didn't like, I think some of the dialogue telegraphed the action, but so does the title. Like, who is going to say, like, hey, put that bike down. What are you afraid of? Which I think is one of the lines early in the film. And I was like, who would say that? But it worked so effectively, because every time he took his eyes off that bike or bicicleta, I was like, don't let it out of your sight. Like, it raised my stress level. So yeah, I also, I don't like anything that really kind of drives home the fact that I myself don't know how to ride a bike. He's out there with a ladder slung over his shoulder and a bucket on his handlebars, just like stunting. And I'm just like, it made me very envious of his bicycle skills.
Ashley doesn't know how to ride a bike.
I don't know how to ride a bike, you guys.
We gotta take care of that tonight.
Take her on the driveway.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Do we have training wheels? Because I'm gonna need them.
I'll stand on one side.
Great, thank you. But that's really kind of it.
Cool. And I don't know if we've found the bicycle thief, but we got Doug Reiser here sitting on a bike.
Do you have a bell?
You got a bell?
There you go. This is feeling.
You've never used one of those before, have you?
What?
There you go.
There you
go.
Time's up, Doug. Karis,
what?
what you
Yes.
like? What
So, lots to love.
Time's up.
I'll just get right into it.
Wait,
The way that
the kid is the hero of the film. I mean, don't you know that? I mean, give me a break.
He is.
Thanks, Todd.
No, absolutely.
Doug Reiser,
It was
what-
like more
I'm
of
a
his
bike
journey,
rider,
right?
and I do love this hat. I do love this bike, but you know what? I did ride a bike with a basket last week, and it really did not do me well. I had a few accidents with it.
Was it your daughter's bicycle? Was
No.
it too
Did it
small?
have
It was my
streamers?
sister's. It was the imbalance of the basket. There was a lot of weight in there.
What were you lugging around?
It's 40 ounces.
No, actually, it wasn't.
A couple 40s.
Did you ride your bike to go bowling again?
So,
That bowling ball. I know what you mean. That will.
so what do you think about the post-war World War II? About what he was going through at this time? He was unemployed. His wife had to sell linens.
It's very real.
The kid was a hero.
And he wasn't the only one. It seemed like
Yeah.
the
Did you
whole
see
town was.
you see the warehouse
That
of
giant pack of
It's an
evil.
endearing film. I love black and white films. I love
So,
the language.
let me ask you, Doug. Your favorite character, Bruno the boy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, hands down. Divertimento. I've seen this film back in my 20s.
You had seen this. I don't think
Yeah, I
any of us had seen
had.
it.
And saw it. For you to make that choice of this film, Vittorio De Sica is one of the most brilliant Italian directors ever. And I was glad that you made this choice. And my question to you is why you chose this.
It was somebody suggested it.
Because it was brilliant. Brilliant choice. And I'm glad you got to experience that.
Yeah.
And I concur with everything you said in your notes.
And to our audience, we're this is the first movie that's this old that we've discussed, and I think there's a sense, even in me, and I love all movies for the most part. A movie from 1948, you get a sense that sometimes old movies are not relatable. Somehow, this movie is so relatable. I don't know if that's the right
Absolutely.
word, but
Yeah, the archetypes are timeless.
yeah.
And it was also
Absolutely.
separate.
The struggle.
He was segmented from the society at that point with this, this project. So
Yeah.
Yeah. The basic human struggle. I think for me, and this may not be a popular thing to say, but for me, Antonio was a very ethical character, and he embodied the desire to be a good human and do what's right, and he's trying to to teach his son these good things, and they're on this adventure together, and it ends up going so poorly. And so just to start a little bit with what I didn't like so much, it just, for me, it was not an enjoyable film to watch. You know, if I just let myself be sucked into this very realistic landscape and story, the struggle that this man and his family and so many others in their community are having, it just made me very sad. And it was very heavy. So, I mean, it was very, very effective, right? The subjective shooting and the visual storytelling in this film is way up there, way up there. The way that the camera would take a shot from each character's perspective, especially like in the last, I think it's like the last scene. You've got Bruno, the son, you've got Antonio, the father, and the scene starts with Antonio, and they're sitting on the street together, and so much space, and no dialogue at all. And the way that the camera switched so slowly and held Antonio's, you could see and hear what was going on in his mind without any words being spoken, without any super close-ups. There were a couple there toward the beginning. And so the camera starts panning out from Antonio, and he gets farther and farther away, and never again do we get a close-up of him. And all of a sudden, this whole story turns into Bruno's story, the son's story. And wow, big feelings. Big feelings happening there.
Hero. He's the hero in the project.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that we've all had those experiences as children. No matter what your situation is, you have some sort of guardian in your life, and to feel so disappointed in the person that is supposed to be your hero, that you're supposed to be looking up to. It's powerful.
Yeah, like when he gets smacked, I thought the way the film, the way the story was told, that disappointment that he had, the hurt, that was so real. You know, that his father would smack him. You know, he was just trying to. It was. I agree with you. Really powerful.
Very powerful.
Also, I think we should mention. I don't know that if anybody has said this. This is in Italian. This movie has subtitles.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just know that, but you know, there's not a ton of dialogue, so it's not. It wasn't distracting to me at all. So
No.
sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's it. What did tell me more? What'd you like? What'd you love?
I liked how this. This is such a simple story in terms of what it's actually about, or what happens over the course of this film. It's a man in search of a stolen bike, and that's it. I mean, on the surface, that's it. You know, I mean, on the surface, that's not all, but that really is what is going. You know, if you're going to watch this film, it's a guy looking for a stolen bike.
That's what it is.
Yet you're totally invested, and I think that's a testament to the acting, the directing, the storytelling. It's mysteriously compelling. It really is. I like how you get a sense of art reflecting life and post World War II Rome and the poverty and struggle. And I don't think that any of us have, at least any of us in this room, I'm going to take a good guess here, have any idea what it means to sell bed sheets for money. True. You know, it's really a glimpse into a world so many of us, especially in the Western world and of a certain generation, can't fully understand. Because it's just not our experience. This film gives you a sense of that, and it's difficult to turn it off. I was completely drawn in from the start to the finish. Again, just so invested in these characters, which keep you invested in whatever they do. And that's good filmmaking, great storytelling, because there's no sizzle in the plot itself. It's in these people. It's in their faces. And this film is 73 years old. But one thing that crosses generations is the plight of mankind, the struggle, the heart and soul of mankind. It's in this film. What I loved, the boy in this story who plays Bruno. This young man was fantastic. What a beautiful acting performance. So much emotion. And to kind of lighten it up a little bit, he's bonked on the head once, slapped in the face. He's offered booze, which is apparently common in the Italian culture for young people to drink alcohol. Almost hit by a car twice, which apparently, according to what I researched, was not staged. This was shot on location, and those cars really did almost hit him. So, and twice. The rest is just stuff of movies I know, but he was nearly hit by 2 cars. And I think that's worth mentioning. I don't love it, but I love this kid's performance. Enzo Steola, I think is how you say it.
How old was he? Like, he couldn't be more than 8 years old,
Very,
right?
I don't know.
About 8.
Yeah.
Magnifico. Look this movie up if you haven't seen it. Watch the trailer, see what you think. But I'm pretty confident this is a film you'll be glad that you gave a look to. You know? Let's take a score.
Ooh, wow.
The man on the bike, Dougie.
I have a very stern personal connection with this film, so I got to give it a 9. And personal reasons. Yeah.
Yep. Karis.
It's a really tough one. You know, I think in some respects it's a 10. But I think just for me, because it's my vote, I'm gonna give it an 8.
Ashley.
I'm leaning towards an 8.
I'll be honest with you. What I wanted, the only thing that it would be a spoiler if I mentioned. I will just say this: I'm not spoiling the ending. I wanted a different ending.
Oh yeah.
But that
how could you not?
I'm not spoiling anything, and I would be inclined to say 9, but I just can't. To me, considering the age of this movie, considering all that we've talked about, the what was going on at that time, the neorealism, the fact that this movie was, I believe, banned or was going to be banned. I don't know, man. This movie is a 10 for me. So,
Awesome.
Oh, here we are. We got real math.
I know.
17 and 8 is 25, and 10 is 35. Check that math.
But it's so relevant to today, don't you think?
Still very related,
Right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
That's right. I had to do it backwards.
We talk about movies, not math.
I hope we're right. So 35.
Right.
Okay, so based on our cumulative score, the JuJuBeez cumulative score of 35, our recommendation for the film Bicycle Thieves is...
We aren't saying see it tonight,
but see it very soon. Yeah, I agree.
Gotta see it.
Ashley.
Gotta see it.
The Bicycle Thief runs 1 hour, 33 minutes. It is not rated, but does contain some mild violence. You can watch it on HBO Max, YouTube, Google Play, Vudu, Amazon Prime, and Apple TV.
One thing I want to say, Karis was saying that it was hard for you to watch. The one thing I think that I love the community. You mentioned
Yes.
that somehow kept me hopeful.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Even considering the end, I was hopeful
Yeah.
because of the community.
As stressful as it was, I wanted to live in that Rome for just a moment.
Yeah,
Just a moment. The bustle of it all and
Yep.
just like,
I felt like I did.
true.
Yeah.
Absolutely true.
Yeah.
Okay,
that real.
quick shout outs. Shout out to Norris Bicycles in Johnson City, Tennessee for allowing us to use this vintage machine you see here. Good folks over there. If you're in the Tri-Cities, Tennessee area and have any bike repair needs, and they do have some inventory, go see Norris Bicycles. Shout out to my boy, shout out to my boy J-Dub out in the City of Angels for recommending that we watch and discuss this film. I'm so glad we did. How about y'all?
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks, J-Dub. Okay, and one more shout out to my mom, Kitty, who turns 79 years old in a few weeks. She was born just 6 years before this film was made.
Wow.
And she watched this movie today for the first time. And if anyone can relate to these times, it's people of that generation. People like my mom. I realized when I was watching her watch this movie that when she watches it, she remembers. Yeah. She knows. When I watch it, I'm imagining. She grew up, she knew the sting of poverty. So watching her watch this actually today was really moving. So shout out to Kitty. And a big, big shout out to these people right here.
Oh my goodness.
Couldn't do this without you. Wouldn't do this without you.
You guys.
Doug Rising. Karis Carter. Ashley Mae King.
Hello.
As always. JuJuBeez.
Goodbye.
Buongiorno. Buongiorno.
My butt's hurting a little bit.
Andia.
So I actually had seen this film before.
Had you really?
Yes, and I
Oh, now it comes out.
You lied.
And watching it again, it felt like I was watching a different movie. I don't
Sit
know.
over here.
I think
See
it was
how you
like
feel.
in my college days when I was like smoking a Lona Pond.
Oh, okay.
And I just like had a totally different experience of this film than I did now.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
So that was exciting.
Yeah, that
I thought
is
I knew I was
exciting.
getting into, and then I was like, wow.
Do you want to sit on the bicycle? Are you ready?
Yep.
You ready for the bike?